What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Eddie Harvey here from tradewithed.com. All right, guys, today we're going to be looking at a rally-based drop. Guys, continuing on, I've talked about Forex supply and demand zones, and now I'm looking at, obviously sharing with you videos of ways where when you identify these supply and demand zones, how can you potentially enter the market for a trade out of these? I'm going to share with you guys exactly what I look for out of these supply and demand zones. So let's get into it, guys. I don't want to make this video too long, so for the sake of keeping things in a timely manner, I've already went ahead. I'm looking at the GBP USD here, and I've identified an area of a rally-based drop. And look at this. Within this rally-based drop, guys, I'm not going to get into the details of all of that, but even in a bigger picture, guys, if you can see here, we have a bigger rally-based drop where it rallied here. This is a base here, and then price dropped off right here. But outside of that, I want to look at where I have one here. Inside of the rally base drop, there's another rally base drop, and you can go on the charts, guys, and identify these over and over again. In fact, I do suggest that if you're trying to understand them, to definitely go look for them on the charts, all for the different supply and demand zones. All right, so if you look right here we have it right here, guys. Out of right here where price created the low, we had the equal low right here. Price then rallied up. Okay, we have our rally right here, right, where price had a low, then it created a high, a higher low, a higher high. It came down here, created an equal low. Then out of that, it then pushed up to create a higher high, right? From this higher high, then this is where you started getting our base. We got the consolidation going here, where price is indecisive, doesn't know what it wants to do. It definitely tries on multiple occasions to definitely push back up to where this high was at, okay? And then from here, it started bouncing off and created what? The lows here, okay? And from back and forth, created this base. After that, price then made a decision where it broke out and it dropped, okay? And then from here, it dropped and created another low or lower low. And if you look right here, this is our rally base drop. From a rally base drop, guys, this is creating a supply zone. From this supply zone, what are we looking for to happen? Now, how do we get into the markets for a potential trade based off of this rally-based drop? Now, there are a multitude of ways you can enter the market, and you can look at it based on whatever it is that you understand for your trading concepts. But for me personally, what I'm looking for out of this, guys, I'm looking for a breakout and then a retest. I'm looking for price to break out like it did, and I'm looking for price to then go back and retest this supply zone, right? I'm looking for it to come back and push back where it can definitely push back and literally touch the demand area here, where it can even go in deeper, and that's a whole nother subject where it can definitely even pull back deeper up into touching these different areas of the supply zone. But what I'm looking at right here, just for keeping things simple, if you look right here, one of the reasons is going to go back and pull back to the supply zone, because right here, price, we have this bullish candle. This is the last bullish candle before we had this huge bearish engulfing candle that broke out. So now we have an imbalance in here, and you're looking for price to come back and fill that imbalance. And that's what it did. It has to come back, right? The banks are going to come back to this candle right here, this bullish candle right here, and that's what it did. It came back and filled that imbalance. And then from there, I'm looking for a potential entry. Now, if you look at that, you can say, okay, well, it broke out, it retested. And then from there, we have the bullish retest. I'm looking for a bearish candle to close. All right, for me personally, this candle closing down here, that's too far away from the supply zone, or from the area of support for me. So I like to get a better entry. So not here. I would have waited for price to pull back up like it did. It's called being patient, right? Being patient is a big part of trading. And then now I'm looking for another bearish candle to close. All right, for the sake, I like to enter off of the 15-minute chart, sometimes the 5-minute chart. So I could have said, okay, once just keeping it simple, 1 hour chart, this candle closed right here. I could have got in right here, or I could have waited and said, you know what, I want to get a better entry, but I want to get it closing below the support zone. Okay, and I could have got in right here and then took this down. Boom. Right here, this is around 60 something pips, I believe. I like to do a 1 or 2. I like to do a 30 pip stop loss. This is me personally, and I'm looking for a 60 pip TP, and I would have got definitely more than my 60 on that. Okay, so now looking at that again, I'm looking for the breakout, and then from this breakout, guys, I'm looking for it. I love how it came and created. I'm waiting for this I'm waiting for this lower low to be created. This is the new lower low here, right? In an area of now from this low that was created, I'm looking for a price to go back and push back up, right, to the supply zone as we talked about. It did that not only once. I know for me personally, I've seen it where not only will it do it once, it'll do it a second time. So I'm looking now, if you missed the first one, price came back down and created what? Another low at this area. It created an equal low here, right? It was low over here. You can say, boom, price came right here at this area, created this equal low. This is now a good, strong, solid support area. Guess what it did? It pushed back up to the zone again. Second mitigation, wait for a bearish candle to close, and you could have got in. And then guess what it did this time? When you got in on this second go round, you would have got even more out of this. And guess what it did? It created a lower low. This was the low at first. It came back to these equal highs, but now it finally decided to create a lower low. And then it pushed back up again. But looking at this, if you'd have got in on this time around, you'd have got a 1 and 3. If based off the parameters that I'm saying, hey, I'm using a 30 pip stop loss. That if you want to stay in past a 1 and 2, this one for 1 and 3.5, 3.6%. So those are different ways that you can get in the market, guys. If you're looking at now, based off of this rally-based drop, looking for it to come back and to attack this supply zone, I'm looking for it to then to continue to what? Drop after that. So I'm looking for a sell entry. Now, at this point, guys, looking at this overall, there was no true trend really formed yet. Okay, to really start forming the trend until it dropped for it to be a bearish trend, right? And we're not going to get into, obviously you can definitely find entries off the trend. Remember, the trend is your friend, trading with the trend, right? But even out of this, guys, you can definitely find buy entries as well. Okay, so I want to show how could you have found a potential buy entry out of this to say, hey, if you missed the sale, or if you're looking to say, could I buy out of this? You possibly absolutely could. Right here, guys, if you look right here at the price drop, it created this consolidation zone here. Okay, we have a consolidation zone. I like to trap price. That's what I do. Price trap. I trap price, and now I'm looking for my entry out of that price being trapped. Okay, this right here is just a smaller version of this. But out of here, look what it did. When it created this low, it consolidated. Indecision, what do we do? It created right here a resistance zone, and right here it created a support zone. Okay, created a support zone here, right? So we have resistance, we have support. Now it could have chosen not to what? Go back and attack that supply zone, right? It could have said, you know what? I'm going to break all of these lows right here, right? I'm going to break all of these lows. Okay, and now create the trend here. Break these lows. I'm going to come back and retest this area and take out and now make this a supply zone. And guess what it could have did? Then drop. But instead, look what it did. It went back up. And now for a buy, we're looking at out of this consolidation, we had this huge, here we have our last bullish candle, right? Bearish candle, we had this huge bullish engulfing candle that closed. It went back up to the supply zone. And guess what it did? It came back down, what? It came back down to this area. It retested on this area right here, okay? So now on the flip side, if you're looking at, this is a demand zone, right? Or if you're just keeping it simple, it broke out of this resistance. It came back down and retested this resistance right in here. So you could have said, you could have looked for it to say, it retested this resistance zone and now look for potential entry here, or you could have waited for it to what? Fill the imbalance where it came back in to this bearish candle right here. And if you see, it did. Look at that. It came right back and filled that imbalance and then shot up right there. So now you could have got in right here and took this up for a buy, right? Right in here. That's for a potential of 87 pips. And the drawdown on that was only about 13 pips if you'd have waited for it to go to fill that imbalance. But let's say if you just wanted to take it from the resistance zone, when it came down here, you could have got in right there for potential entry just based off the resistance, retesting that resistance, and your drawdown would have been about 24 pips, but you still would have went up for that about 74 pips right there. So those are different ways, guys. I hope you all found some value in this video, man. I'm just sharing with you the way I see the markets, the way I look at the charts and what I look for. And this happens over and over again all day. So again, guys, if you found value in this, do me a huge favor and hit that like button, guys. If you want to see more of my videos, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Now hit that bell to be notified when I drop new videos. Also, guys, go to tradewithed.com if you want to learn more about Forex trading and also supply and demand zones and more. Talk to you guys soon. Take care.